Welcome to Biggest Geekest. We're your hosts. I am Joe.
I'm Randy.
This is episode 126 of our show, and the date is Tuesday, February 14th, 2023. Happy Valentine's Day, Randy.
Oh, you know it. You know it. Same to you, brother. Did you and your wife do something fun and cool?
I worked.
Right on, me too. I bought a couple of candy bars for the ladies in my house, and that's about all I did. We don't really. I mean, my anniversary was last weekend on the 11th, so we celebrate everything then. We don't do the Valentine's Day thingola.
I got her chocolates. She loves chocolate.
Ditto. That was a safe.
Actually, if it has sugar in it, she likes it.
Cool.
Any kind of sugar, but she really likes chocolate.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, before we get too stuck into anything around here, let's talk about Nerdcognito.
You got it.
Because this is Biggest Geekest brought to you by Nerdcognito.
Yeah, baby.
With Ryan, David, and Bert, who we don't ever really hear his last name, I don't think. Maybe. I don't know. Ryan and Bert.
And Ryan's in the house, baby.
Ryan and Bert over at Nerdcognito. I was trying to think of a cool. I'm catching up on Nerdcognito myself.
Yes.
And he has a way with commercials.
Yes,
we do not.
Correct.
And,
correct.
I was thinking of things like with a lead in like brought to you by my underwear.
What?
Well, you don't know how many podcasts are sponsored by MeUndies or Sheath Underwear is the big one now.
Oh, jeez.
Underwear, Kratom, this is a Psychological Service, a couple other ones that are kind of popular. But anyway,
yeah,
we're not doing any of that. We want you to put Ryan, David, and Bert of Nerdcognito in your ear holes.
Yes.
Head on over to your podcatcher of choice. They are in all of them, just like our show is as well. But head on over there and get that good stuff in your ears. You'll thank us for it. Ryan over there, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm hitting buttons again, Joe. I don't know. It doesn't seem right.
I'm going to take away.
Do not. I need the power. Did I mess it up again? Because I'm over on YouTube now. No, I didn't. Okay.
So, Nerdcognito talks about a lot of topics that we don't. We kind of, ear holes. We overlap. They talk more about nerding in general. We really focus on tabletop, though we do dip our toes into comic books and video games and movies a little bit.
Right.
But if you want the smorgasbord of nerding in your ear holes, go listen to Ryan David. Ryan David is one person.
Yeah.
And Bert
is one person.
Over at Nerdcognito.
Yeah, I was catching up on a lot of their older ones, and they had released one with a T-shirted historian, which is really a good one. And I can't wait. I want to hear, Ryan, I hope you're going to give us some sweet rantitude on all of WoTC's most recent, don't play the game if you white. So
Malachi is, one of our best supporters here. He thinks that neither one of us should have the power. We should have a producer. But we don't have producer money. So
right. Have to be a friendly producer that works for, I don't know, a sandwich once a month.
So just to let you know, Mr. Nichols, you should have an additional field that you can fill out for your name.
I should.
That's a headline. Like you see it for me.
Yeah, I don't see it from you.
You don't see underneath my name. It says.
Oh, I do. So I should be able to do that as well.
You should be. You can put something else.
Okay, well, it'll stay that for tonight. I'll figure it out.
You figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
It's a new feature.
Yeah. 6 months more.
And like an audio is an old feature that for some reason we can't make use of anymore.
Oh, edit name and headline. I see.
And headline.
No.
Yeah. I switched over to Linux a couple months ago. And for some reason on Linux, Firefox does not have all of the options for StreamYard. So I share a screen. The talent of the show. I'm going to have to take the power away from you.
Don't do that, Joe. I'm getting really. I think I'm getting drunk on power. Maybe you should.
So on Linux, if I run StreamYard from Firefox and then use a Brave browser tab to have something with audio in it, it don't work. You don't hear anything.
What's it?
If I switch and put a Brave browser, but StreamYard in Brave, then I can't hear Randy. He can hear me. It's weird.
It's conspiracy. Somebody's up to something. Tim Scott said he'll produce for Tree Fitty.
Well, that doesn't sound like money, so that's fine.
I like that. I'm down with that. Did you watch the Super Bowl this weekend, Joe?
I did not.
It was pretty good. There was a questionable call at the end that a lot of folks got upset at, but 38-35 is a pretty exciting game. Decided in the last few seconds, though the details were a little weird. So I got to go to a friend's house and watch it, so that was cool. I didn't have to pay for it. It was good. By the way, that was the only football game I watched from start to finish this season.
Super Bowl.
Come on.
Right. We are going to say the word Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been all that enthusiastic about pro sports in a while. They've kind of gotten, in my opinion, kind of boring.
No, they're not boring. Well,
and they're adopting all the nonsense of the current day. Instead of just focusing on the game, they got to, do what everybody else is doing.
I had a YouTube TV like 2 years ago to watch the playoffs. And honestly, I didn't think I missed it. I enjoyed the Super Bowl more for hanging out with my friends. But the truth is, I feel the same way. Ever since the Kaepernick kneeling garbage, I've just found it beyond stupid. And Joe knows, I was a big NFL fan. I used to watch it all the time, but they're a little too full of themselves. I think they can, just poop on whoever they want to and act like they deserve all this stuff. And they're going all down those left paths.
Well, I don't understand. It's not part of their the demographic that watches football isn't interested in their politics, in the political talking. And, it's a diverse crowd. It's not just white dudes. No. There are some women. There are some other ethnicities. Most of the NFL players are black. So I'm thinking
70% or more. Come on now.
So I would imagine that's represented quite well in the viewership as well.
Well,
there's, you never know. There might be something from the networks that they demand it. There might be some demand that they are following, but they can't really look the other way. Maybe the unions or something. Who knows?
Dorothea, glad to see you, bud. We missed you last week. NFL players today are weak crybabies. Physically, they're still amazing athletes, but they get away. They're allowed to play the game so much softer. Even Tom Brady. Tom Brady played in a time where early on in his career was kind of tough. But the 70s and 80s quarterbacks, oh my God, they got beat down. But what? In the end, they just.
Hey, DM James.
Hey.
Oh, that could be it. Yeah, and this is why advertising. See, we can advertise with Nerd Cognito because we are simpatico in many ways. But if we try to, have Dawn dishwashing soap as a sponsor, they would probably demand things or tell us to, get tans or something. Who knows? Anyway, How about let's see. No gaming from me. No gaming from you. I'm going to get into negative. Let's get into something positive.
No, but I am going to game. I'm going to game this weekend on Saturday. So,
especially since Patty, one of our cheerleaders, can't hang out long, so I want to get into some good stuff for him while he's listening.
Let's do it. Let's get in it.
So no gaming. Had some issues with the Emporium and my computer, which put a big dent in what I might have been able to get. Get things more pushed forward for the site, and it just didn't work out.
Ryan Dave's got a question for you. Did you get reinstated on the Twitter yet?
Well, so biggest Geekus has not. Big Geek Emporium is still there. I just had a post in support of Larry Correa. One of the Emporium's other followers decided to crap all over Larry Correa, and I had to step in. I didn't say anything directly to this guy. I just said, "Hey, Larry Correa is good. He's giving advice, not the touchy-feely good advice. He's giving tough love advice. Get good. Don't just put out crap." Is essentially what he was saying. And I was like, "Don't be so mean."
Bite me, you wine bag. No patience for whiners.
So no, and I didn't call him a tard, so that's probably why Big Geek Emporium is still on.
Huh?
Really? Well, maybe somebody can pull a rando email for Biggest Geekus. Though I don't know how much we need it. I've got my personal, and we've got Big Geek Emporium. I had thought perhaps of changing the Big Geek Emporium to just BG or something like that, more generic. And then when I post about the podcast or the live stream, I might have something in the heading that says live stream. And then when I post about the Emporium, I just put Emporium as in bold or something.
Bad news. I just double checked. Our site is down again, Joe.
Huh?
Our site is down, I believe. Patty asked. So while we're waiting, I will echo Tonka Todd. He said, be sure to help support this channel. Subscribe, like, and share the content. Hopefully we'll hit. 1K would be boss. 1,000 would be unbelievable. At 500, you guys are getting another double whammy giveaway. So be prepared. So don't lose your mind, Joe. We got a podcast to do. I know you're sidetracked now. Thanks, Patty. Now I'll never be able to talk to Joe the whole night. He's gonna be like, "What's going on?"
You know, I just was working on it this morning.
Oh, that's got to be aggravating, dude. Just so everybody knows, Joe does the lion's share of the work on that damn thing, and I mean by the massive lion's share. So he is seriously the man. So
okay, there.
No, even though I'm prettier. I mean, that's neither here nor there, though.
What did my lying ears just tell me?
Nothing. I said nothing.
Okay.
And you liked it. Oh yeah. So I wonder.
All right.
You want to?
I don't know what's going on. It's going through some issues here.
But to figure it out later, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Fix it in post.
Okay. I don't know what's going on.
How's that not a thing?
All right. So, yes, Nerd Cognito, go visit them. Our week has just been summed up as, for me, bullcrap with the website. Now, what we want to talk about real quick is the weekly WoTC crap roundup. Yes. That's what Randy calls it.
Right.
WoTC crap roundup. Now, honestly, we're going to put WoTC on the back burner here pretty soon.
Yeah.
We don't want to give them too much airtime on our show. Really tired of these guys.
It's simple, right? I mean, they hate you. They've proven it. Do something else. Buy anything else. Support anything else. Pretty much.
But there's going to be folks out there, hopefully none of you guys, but dang, how much more do you need to you don't have to agree ideologically with us, but how much does WoTC have to do to get you to understand that, one, They are bereft of any creative abilities because they're not hiring talented people.
Nope.
Though there's lots of people out there that would have loved to have worked on Dungeons and Dragons. They're not hiring those people,
Right.
the ones that are also creative.
Right.
And I don't begrudge them wanting to make money.
No.
At all, ever. Because that's how things work. It's a business. They want to make money. That's fine. But not at the expense of creativity. I mean,
no. If you put out crap, you'd like to think that if you put out crap, nobody will buy it. But I mean, 4th edition proved that to be wrong.
But it didn't sustain.
No, it didn't. And 5e was on a run until they kind of pooped all over it. Even though recently they made a lot of garbage. Yes, I'd heard this, Patrick. He said the core RPG system from Project Black Flag of Cobalt Press has just released the first PDF. There's a guy that, me and Joe have up and down feelings on, but I'm going to pimp him out a little bit. Total Party Skills guy has put out several short videos in the last couple of days, 24 hours. And he's proposed the idea that he seems to think, and I don't think it's far-fetched, that WoTC really doesn't care. Like, for example, if you were to burn your books, they kind of don't care. First, that doesn't lose anything for them. 2, I think they would love for there not to be that many DMs and that everybody had to rely on their new VTT, Unreal Engine, AI DM to play, because then they could monetize everybody at the table. And I'm not saying it's a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but I don't think with WoTC, it's not out of the ballpark.
At least with the one dude.
Yes.
What's the one dude's name? Who's the one? There was only really one guy that's pushing that whole agenda.
Chris Ka
something.
The guy who's never played D&D yet he thinks he knows all about it.
Right. And that the lady that's in charge over there, neither of them are gamers.
No.
And with the one lady from Microsoft, not Lorraine Williams, it's a different name. Or is it Lorraine?
No, it's Williams.
Kathleen?
Maybe.
Something. Anyway, you got a couple of non-gaming people trying to, and that's fine from a high-level point of view, to run a business that you don't necessarily are you're not a consumer of the thing, but you got to be able to have somebody there that gives you a clue what your customer base is like. And the gaming hobby, our hobby, has a game master and players.
Yes.
It's a led experience. Cynthia Williams. Thank you, Malachi. So yeah, it's a led experience. Oh, you know what? We don't have a lot of folks in here tonight because I didn't get out all of the
but we have good ones, man.
social media posts.
We have a lot of cool ones. It's all right. All the
ones
cool
who pay attention.
All the cool kids are here.
All the cool kids are here.
Artman made a good point. D&D as RPG is not their future. I agree. They will create a quasi MMO style product. They want the whales. I'm not sure what that is. Whales,
big spenders.
Oh, from the community they won't buy. So a leaderboard. Yeah, that's interesting. That could be the case.
But it's going to for anybody who's into the hobby to sit around a table and play with their friends or play with people who could become their friends. They're going to abandon that.
Dude,
right. Correct.
Well, man nails it. The problem is they don't understand the difference because the guy said it himself. They don't understand the difference between a video game and an RPG.
It's the same thing. No,
it's not even close.
He scratches 2 different itches, and that's why I don't know. I don't know how much of his leadership has led Wizards of the Coast to this point. So I don't know how much their time and money they're going to spend on this. They've recently laid off 1,000 people, something like that.
That's something. 1,500. Hasbro laid off 1,500, I think.
So I wonder how many of those were over at Wizards. Wizards can't have that many people working for them.
The thing is this: they all I can hope is they run this into the ground, and we had a little. Joe had told me about a Twitter comment that Basic Expert had made. That apparently Jenny D was saying she was burnt out on D&D. And I wonder, first thing that crossed my mind is someone like Jenny D who hasn't played very long, if they're already burnt out, is it that there's going to be this crowd that kind of caused the the ballooning of 5e D&D. They were kind of the quote unquote normals or whatever you want to call them. I don't know how to use that word. Just not your regular gamers who've gotten into D&D, but really maybe they're just tired of D&D, you know? Because I don't get the feeling that a lot of them were all that bothered by some of the crap that WoTC did.
Right. So part of what WoTC did was try to incorporate a morality clause in the playing of the game per se. And the other part was we are going to own your third-party stuff that you make under this license. Those were the essential 2 bits. And I think the second bit where they were going to want to have fees and own your stuff and make more money and all the money talk I think that's what turned off the folks on the other side of the kind of the divide, ideological divide, because they're mostly socialists and communists who don't like capitalism or profits.
Yeah.
So this smacked of a money grab. So that's what really pissed them off.
Right.
I think if the only thing that they had introduced was the morality clause, it would have been fine.
Yeah. Oh, guaranteed, Malachi. He said the morality clause was for anything published under the OGL. And there were people, because they're cool with that ideology.
So yeah, that would have flown if that was the only thing they were adding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they're all because they're no longer appearing to be greedy, Mr. Ryan. They're not appearing greedy anymore. So yeah, okay.
The smart controls are back in lockstep, which is a good name Ryan uses. He uses that a lot, and I think it's pretty accurate. Now Tinkar, I didn't link this to you, Joe, but Tinkar had a video this morning, or was it last night, where he talked about how it seems like in their next Keys to the Golden Vault, whatever their most recent garbage 5e book is coming out in the next month. He thinks it's they're previewing how they're going to kind of hedge out all the other mom and pop game stores by first selling to Amazon, and then through D&D Beyond, they're even undercutting Amazon because they're going to have a deal for both the book and the PDF. So I'm not sure they even want to sell to game stores anymore. And part of me as a business, I'm like, if I could sell my stuff directly, why would I go through a third party? Why would I go through a
right? So it's something I was talking to and kind of feel a little bit like myself is a middleman. Yep. Everybody who wants to be a middleman. Patrick says champagne socialists and millennial commies only like a money grab and it benefits them. Yep. Especially when it's coming from the government. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be a middleman and take a cut. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason why I kind of backed off on our commission over at the website, over at the Emporium. But at least the Emporium is providing a service and staying out of the way between those who want to buy and those who want to sell. And we try to introduce as very little extra cost as possible. But print on demand is another service from another person that takes another cut, because you have to pay them. Well, they expect a fee because, of course, they provide the paper and the covers and the shipping and distribution and all of that.
Sure.
So that's a valuable service, which it would be awesome if we could provide directly and charge a smaller fee.
Ryan Davis said, I talked about this with T-Shirt Historian this week as someone who has a financial interest in the FLGS. Is that you or T-Shirt? The store cannot even secure an order for the books. These are the keys to the Golden Vault thing, but they're openly available on D&D Beyond. Yeah, I mean, look, I understand it. I mean, from a business viewpoint, it's not great I understand the OGL license from a business standpoint. I mean, that's sneaky as heck. Try to worm all that crap in and screw people left and right and get all that. But it feels like short-term gain for a long-term loss. It's going to be interesting. I think, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. If WoTC doesn't really use those FLGSs, are they done? Hopefully not.
I've been thinking about the game store as well. Mm-hmm. And early on, when I first put out some information about maybe doing an Emporium. Mm-hmm. Okay, sites back up. Someone contacted me and asked, would we be providing us any kind of licensing for gaming stores for a product. And still at this time, I can't see any benefit for anybody for that kind of an arrangement from us, from this side, because that's another middleman. We would be another middleman between the creator and a venue of sale, and there would be a cut. There would be a piece that the creator wouldn't have because I would be in the way, because we don't own any. The Emporium doesn't own any of the game product. We just help distribute it. Yeah. So I don't see any way that the Emporium can be an advantage to a game store unless that game store could print books on demand.
Right.
So if that game store could print books on demand, we could give them, or they could provide us with the necessary API to, if they have somebody in the store and they want a particular book, they can print it right and they can have it right there for them, which would be awesome. But we don't have that right now.
Malachi says that they do this to the FLGS while they still not carry Magic. I don't know. Magic is a moneymaker, but I do think, they've not done a good job with Magic either. They pooped on that crowd. We have a friend in our group, big Magic player. He was pissed off with those. Hey, long shot, what's up? With those $999 booster packs of stupidity. Here's a question. This past weekend, folks, I went to Lansing, East Lansing, for my anniversary, just kind of a getaway, and I hit 4 game stores. And there's some solid game stores in the area and a used bookstore. I bought most of my stuff from the used bookstore. I liked looking at the game store, but most of the stuff was things I was either not interested in or already had. And I enjoy a really good game store, but I don't know with Amazon and the ability to do print on demand, drive-through RPG. Game stores can't really compete monetarily with Amazon. Is the FLGS eventually going to be gone?
The game store has to innovate. So printing on demand would be one way. Another way is something I heard somebody else say, maybe we talked about this too, is to provide an experience or an atmosphere that is welcoming and fun and involves food.
Yeah. And that's been kind of a thing I've heard people bandied about for years and years and years, though.
So what if you had a pizza shop in the back?
Right.
Yeah. Here's the ideal game store in my head. You have the front, the very front is product, right, that you're selling. Right behind that is game area. And behind that is 2 areas. One is a pizza shop, and the other is a printer for on-demand products. And it could even be, you could have a book printer, which would be 2 things. One would be a printer and one would be a binder. And then the other thing would be some 3D printers in the back to make various things. Right. That's what you need.
Yeah.
That's some ideas. I don't know if you can do all that. That's some capital you would need to lay down.
Brian David says you have to provide added value service. We make no bones about it. Our tables, our expertise, our lending library are what you're paying for, and it's the difference between FLGS and Amazon. Honestly, I don't need a game store to provide a place to play for me.
But other people do.
Oh, no, I get it. I think that's a service folks can do. I'm just saying I don't need their food either because I'm not going to stay and play. Having said that, when I go into a game store, I make my best effort to buy something every time because I have a lot of sympathy for them. But I still like them. Even if they're just a hole in the wall, I like the experience of just being there. Huh?
I've never heard of that store, but I'm not originally from here.
Does Cumcraft store, is that a real thing? Are you making fun of it? I don't know.
Let me see if my wife knows. Hey, baby. I do.
What do you want?
Have you ever heard of a store here in Bay City called Cumcraft?
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Is it still here?
I don't believe believe so.
Okay.
I used to go there all the time. Had good stuff.
No, it's a large hobby shop. That is not the case, Iron Man. No,
Or moved, and I haven't found out where it's at.
no, but
Homecraft was really good.
Yeah, someone referenced it in the chat here. Someone, another Michigander. You need the laptop, you said? Yeah, hold on a second.
Sorry.
The camera's not pointing that way anymore. It's pointing this way. So
Okay.
you can step in here without fear.
But says he's disappointed that biggest geekest gaming store hasn't opened in his area. We're working on it, Flighty. We don't really have we don't have enough capital to go that direction yet. We're gonna try to saturate our market here.
So was that? Oh,
yeah,
and that's the thing. The overhead of a store,
yep,
isn't worth it at this point, especially right now with the economy. If we had bought a store and tried to do something brick and mortar,
oh boy,
we would almost certainly have had to sell it or go bankrupt or something.
Yeah, we'd have been doomed. I don't see how we could do it. I think
unless we could turn this house into something where we live in the top, have the kitchen and stuff in the back, and then the bottom is a game store. That would be the only way. Old school where people lived in their stores.
Dude, I remember comic book stores like that and gaming stores sort of like that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought back when I was in college in Bloomington, Indiana, there was one 25th Century 5 and Dime. He had comics and gaming stuff, and he was down below the surface of so there was a street level. He was below it, like the old style stairs leading down. It was really cool, and I could have sworn he lived there, but I don't know. I mean, like
Red Dragon.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they live there.
Yeah, but the ones in East Lansing, if you ever get out there, there's one called the Summit that's very impressive. I'm trying to think of the other ones I went to. I can't think of their names. The gaming cantina. There's one of those in Charlotte too, Michigan. Oh. Strangely enough, I've been to both.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay, but yeah, that was that's a sad thing. I personally, I just love the experience. I love the ambiance. I grew up going to game stores. There's something about them. I just loved. I hope they don't go away. They are getting harder and harder to find. Yeah, Malachi. He said. Malachi said a comic shop he used to go to was a converted house, and the second floor was an apartment. Yeah, this guy lived in the back, and he had all his long boxes out front and stuff. It was pretty wild, but it was a good store. I went there. He even would do subscription services. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, there's something about the game store. I just like to be there. I like to look at the stuff. If I had one close by that I liked, we do have the Dreams of Conquest, but personally, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that place, but it's okay. It doesn't hold my interest enough for various reasons. DM James, man, sweet. He lives in a van down by the river. You need to open a gaming store in the back of your van. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, all this to say that, we have options. Mm-hmm. And it'd be nice to support game stores. It'd be nice if Big Geek Emporium could support game stores. And I know that I'm getting an email from somebody with regard to print on demand. We might have an inroad to at least a particular form factor.
Yeah.
The fellow's not going to have all the different types, but we might be able to get a better deal than we're getting now. And somebody there instead of just an API and interface. I deal with the print on demand right now. I just have a computer interface. I don't talk to anybody. It's a faceless company.
Yeah.
So, which is okay if everything works, but when it doesn't work, it's hard to.
Calvinoni says DM James at Edgelord Mobile Game Store. That would be great.
Edgelord, that would be an awesome game.
Yeah, you come up to Bay City. That'd be great. We could go check out his game store in the back.
Edgelord Game Store is an awesome name for a game store.
And he could offer his candy to come into the back of the van.
All right. So if nobody picked up on it, the Emporium is back up. For some reason, I don't know what the deal is. One of the plugins wasn't activated. That might be my fault. I was screwing around with the site to try to make something work. That might be my fault.
Martinson says he recalls Comcraft. He went there plenty of times as a kid. Okay, cool. Martinson is born and raised in the city by the bay. So, yeah.
Marketing? Yeah. Okay, Tonka.
Oh, okay.
I'm ignorant about marketing. And yeah, I did it. I did both. I both assassinated and then rescued the website.
What's that called when you do that? When you like those ladies that'll poison their kids just so they can take them to the hospital and get all this?
Yeah, Baron Munchausen.
Yeah, Munchausen. Joe's got Munchausen.
By proxy, it has more to it.
Munchausen by proxy for the website, so we all can go, "Hail Joe, he fixed BGE." He's like, "Yeah, it sprays me."
Yeah, we don't know any marketing people until now. So awesome. You have a BGE account. I'm pretty sure I have your email already.
Tonka Todd?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, check out with him. That's a good idea. So yeah, we'll try to. We'll keep the D&D crap. WoTC keeps running their mouth. I guess we'll keep talking about it, but hopefully we're going to try to move. I want to move on.
Yeah, I just listened to Ryan's Nerdcognito's latest, and hey, Hungar, the Starvarian.
Yes.
Hey, you guys need to go check out Hungar's channel, Hungar the Starvarian, right here on YouTube. They were talking about both Ryan and Bert gave 2 suggestions for not WoTC properties.
Yes, they did.
So I want us to highlight not WoTC properties as well. Some stuff from the Emporium, and there's a wide world out there. There's lots of stuff apart from the Emporium materials. So I think we should just start talking about stuff. I've got a pile of books.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Green Apple, bored. Bored of WoTC.
Yeah. Now bored, but we still have to be vigilant, dude.
Like I said, keep the rear view. Don't completely ignore them.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, we could if we don't.
There are enough people already hollering about WoTC on YouTube.
Yeah.
And all the social media that you can just pay attention to that.
Yes.
That's what I do. I don't watch the news because they just want to propagandize you anyway.
True.
So I just listen to a variety of different signals. I do that with gaming as well when I'm not trying to break and fix my website.
The Malachi, he's got the right of it. He got my group interested in Savage Worlds after running a Rifts one shot. So you ran Rifts as Savage Worlds? Excellent, dude.
Yes, don't tell Max over at a Legion of Myth.
No, tell him to switch to Savage Worlds. He would totally agree with that.
Oh, actually, the worst one to tell over there would be Heathen Dog.
Oh, really? He hates Savage Worlds with a passion?
Well, he doesn't like Savage Worlds as a game all that much. Mm-hmm. But what he hates worse is
Savage Rifts.
Savage Rifts. That's not Rifts.
Dude, when I first got into Savage Worlds years and years ago, Joe can verify, that was the first setting I said, they need to Savage Rifts. And now that I've learned Rifts, I think I was wrong because Rifts is not that complicated, but I do think it's more detail than I need for a game. It's got too much. It's too granular. But anyway, that's a side comment. All right. You want to tell them what to do? Have them do the things. Tonka Todd hollered out for us.
I'll tell them where to go.
You tell them where to go, man. I've had enough of their crap. These awesome people.
All right, everybody. Subscribe over here on this channel if you're not already. Hit the like button and the bell notification. Help the channel out. Help us help you by subscribing to us here. Actually, we're a bit up on subscriptions. It's not a meteoric rise to power, to coin a phrase, or to borrow a phrase from a song.
Tenaciousness.
Yes. What was our last count? Let me see if that is still good.
380, I thought last time.
386.
Look at that domination.
Yeah. Unstoppable. Let's see here. Let me get this off of your face and my face. All right. Yes. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do so. It helps us out. Also, head over to Hungar the Starvarian, to his channel. We mentioned, who else did we mention? We mentioned Tenkar. Go give him a subscribe. Go give him a listen. Subscribe if you like him. Also, Total Party Skills. Give him a listen too.
Yeah, he's putting out some fun, some interesting stuff. He's always a little more.
I like having him when his video is playing. I'm looking at something else.
He's better. He's better than what he was. The problem you had with it, it's better. It's
And not this
great,
one.
but it's better. Huh?
Not this one. He has the camera at the right level, but then he does this a lot. So
Okay. You don't want to see his nostrils.
well, this is the thing. And I'm sure that we have mannerisms that people don't like or whatever, because we're just looking in our camera and talking. There's nothing exciting going on here. So who cares whether you look at us or not? You can minimize it and just listen. That's fine.
I agree with Mr. Boivin. He says, I like Total Party Skill. He brings a different perspective. He does. I do like listening to him. Cal says he unsubbed from him and he stands by his decision. Cal, respect, dude. Do what you got to do. It's all right.
There's a lot of people, maybe us included. This is what we were doing initially, is have your YouTube audio, produce it for podcast, and then a lot of us would hear more stuff, like me included, because I don't have a lot of time to sit and watch video.
Ditto.
But with this kind of thing, if I wanted to pay YouTube more money or money at all, I could do the YouTube Red, and you can listen to it with the screen closed. I think that's
okay. But you have to have YouTube Red to listen to it with the screen closed?
Yeah. On your phone.
Okay. Yeah,
on
that's
PC, it doesn't matter, but on your phone, yeah.
Right. All right. Shall we move into the next segment, less WoTC talk?
Yes. So also, if you like Jenny D's stuff, why don't you head over to her YouTube channel? Give her a listen. If you like it, maybe you will. Give her video a like. The one that I had. There's a link here in the chat that I posted that has. The Basic Expert is the one that's in the YouTube or the Twitter thread that I posted in the chat. Go by his channel as well. He's a good dude.
Yep. All right.
Right. Yes. Max says I can do this with any. You could do it on Windows too. You can just download the audio.
Oh, okay. But
when I'm out and about, if I just happen to discover or someone references a video, I can't do it at that point. And I'm always doing so many things. I can't really. Maybe I should do that and schedule some time to get all the audio together and stick it in my phone.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Look what Boivin says. Watch his latest video before going to Jenny D. It will save your ears.
Yes, Mr. Max Boivin also has a YouTube video, the same title as what he has here. Go check him out.
Yes. Reactionary Principle Gaming, baby. It's a good site. It's a good YouTube channel.
What are you saying, hon? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think we had a couple of DVR folks in here, too. Go over to DVR. DEEVEEARR. Oh, sorry. DEEVEEARR. No, AAR.
What are you talking about?
DVR.
Oh. Jack the 71st. OA. I don't know what that means. But welcome, Jack the 71st.
AO.
OA, whatever that is, yeah. No, Malachi, it will not save your soul. That's only in Christ. But hey, you should still listen to it.
Old school OSR and old school gaming will always save your soul.
Cal's funny. Your soul should have been oversold previously, or you've been gaming wrong. Well, satanic panic action? Yeah, if you're a good gamer, you shouldn't have it.
According to some, we probably have my soul's probably on its fifth sublease at this point.
Right. Yeah. All right, let's move into the next one. Let's talk about something else. You ready?
Yeah. We're going to talk about monsters.
Yeah.
Now,
this is a unique one, though. I picked a kind of a different one.
Yeah, we're talking about homebrewed monsters.
Right on.
And okay, before we get into your questions and your points here, keep a unique monster in mind. Because I didn't read through this, so I don't know if you did that anyway.
Okay, no. I did not specifically.
I heard this a YouTuber make this pronouncement, and I love the idea. And I told you about this already.
Oh.
An intelligent gelatinous cube.
Ooh, yes. That is juicy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was thinking about how that could come about. Anything from the gelatinous cube trying to absorb something a little bit too potent for it too, but it still is basically a pile of acid. So, ouch for just about anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So how about we keep that monster in mind?
Okay.
Go through your things and see if that will influence how we can make this a viable creature.
Here's the idea. So that's actually how I create what I call my homebrewed monsters. My first question is, with all the available monster books, of which I have a billion, why should a DM bother, do you think?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, if you're working out of an established IP, making your own monsters means if they've memorized all the monster books, then they can still be surprised. And sometimes it's a creative outlet for you.
I think so.
Wouldn't an intelligent gelatinous cube just be a Roomba, says Malachi? Well, it already is. It just sweeps up things it incidentally runs into, which is what a Roomba does.
I wonder.
Well, if you are immune to acid, then you could probably tell what it tastes like.
I had a perfect answer. It's got a bit of a bite. If you're not immune to acid.
That's a spiced meatball.
That's what I hate about monsters. David Gile says, none of the monsters do what you want. Just die on my sword and give me your treasure. Oh my. Look at Tonka Todd. At Randy and Joe. My homebrew monster is called a Bane. It's a mouse with a small elephant trunk that absorbs magic from items, books, or so forth. Joe hates those kind of monsters. Thanks. They are only 1 hit point and travel in groups of D100. That's what I'm talking about.
So Randy has something similar called the King of the Wind Elementals.
Oh, that was an original.
Yes. And you go into the room. The door immediately slams shut. You're slammed against the wall, and the only way you can leave is to give a magic item.
Oh, David was being serious. He said that was the answer to. Why bother creating new monsters if they don't do what you want them to do? You know what, David? I actually find that to be true. Now, is it because we're old and grizzled veterans? Because new people say, oh, that's a cool power, where you and I might go, I've seen that before. It's a little boring. I don't want that to happen in this next adventure. I need something better than just a ghoul that paralyzes the whole party in 2 rounds. I want them to hang around a little bit. I'm always fidgeting with monsters, though. I mean, I rarely throw a monster as is. Even if you don't know what I'm doing behind the scenes, I make it a little different. I mean, like I give you an extra save for ghoul paralysis, or not. So you're totally hosed. So I don't know.
So in the vein of eating, maybe we made people hungry when we're talking about pizza, and they just can't keep talking. They can't quit talking about eating gelatinous cubes.
Right.
It's weird because they will actually eat you instead. But reactionary principal gaming with Mr. Max Boivin, we'll just abbreviate that to Mr. Max. Just pour some milk on your pint of gelatinous cube. That might work. Acid. I mean, it works for hot food, so maybe that'd work. Okay, someone up here also said a shoggoth or a shogoth.
Yeah.
It's essentially a gelatinous cube. So.
Jack the 71st. Rust monsters the size of mice and as a swarm.
Randy would love. You just gave Randy.
Dude. Trunk of magic item destroying. Little mouse. That's one. And number 2 was swarm of rust monsters.
Hey, isn't this already something? A giant cockroach with sonic powers? Well, I mean, what? It's not a cockroach exactly, but what's that thing that has? It looks. It's a brain eater. It's
Yes,
like brain,
but it looks like a little
like a dog with instead of a head, it has a brain on its neck.
looks like a mole, a large mole. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's one of those too. Brain mole. There's a brain mole,
Yeah.
and then there's the a thought eater. Is it a thought eater? Thought eater, not brain eater. Thought eater.
Thought eater.
And it's not a cockroach exactly, but it's close. You could just make it look like a giant cockroach.
David Gall says intellect devourer. That's the actual brain with the 4 legs that can jump inside your head. It can sonic blast and stun you, and then get inside your head and take over your body. That's the intellect devourer. Yeah, that's it. That's a different thing. Yeah. So changing 1 or 2 aspects, I do think adds a real twist to monsters, don't you? I don't think you have to go whole cloth and create a brand new thing like my.
No, it's probably it'd save you time just to mush 2 together, 2 or 3, or just swap out powers or just reskin it. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways you can do that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best. I think it's interesting when you read Dungeons and Delvers, to give David Gow a little props here. He definitely takes some nice twists on some of the old monsters, his own take on them, and that's always cool.
Yes, David Guile does not have a YouTube channel that I know of, but he does have several products out at Big Geek Emporium, and since it is now up because I fixed the issue I created, go over there and buy stuff. The good stuff.
Yep. David says, look to mythology. Absolutely. Mythology is a great place to begin. To be honest with you, I haven't read some classic mythology in forever. That would be a good thing. Well, Killraven says this is interesting. He says, running 5e, I was almost always having to add things back to creatures based on what they were able to do in previous editions. Yeah, that can be very disappointing when you really liked as a DM how this one creature ran, then they change it. Or even if they don't change the ability, let's say the mechanics of the ability no longer works well. And so it goes from being a terrifying creature to kind of like I found in 3rd edition, that was kind of annoying. All these stupid saving throws. Was 3rd edition where they started doing save every round, or was that 5th edition?
No, they did. I think they did some of that in 3rd.
Yeah, where on spells, especially, like this creature will cause you to. Okay, Patrick is going to be getting his copy of Dungeons and Delvers. That's going to be us, right? You have one, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Play. That needs to happen now. That needs to be done. So we need to get to it. No more.
At the very least, we'll play online.
What's that?
At the very least, we'll play online.
One thing I've always liked, that I've always changed or always used no matter what D&D said, I like dragons that can change into humanoids. In my worlds, almost always, not every dragon, but pretty close. If it's a pretty intelligent dragon, I usually let them change into humanoids. I think that's a cool thing. I would imagine they study people. That's how they become so knowledgeable of how humanoids act and behave as they get amongst them and they observe them. So that's kind of a default change that I always do.
What was the default change you always do again?
Always make dragons kind of have the ability to shape change into humanoids. Oh, look who's here, baby. DM Blackwall. Welcome, dude. We got to get in contact with him.
Yes, we do.
I'm going to talk to you off air about that. We got to make a plan.
Yeah, we do. Plus, I owe him. We were talking about some plans for us to get together and having his stuff on Big Geek Emporium.
Yep. Our man says, seems like dogs would bark at shape change creatures. Like that too. I like that idea too. That's very
right. Cool. If you want, well, and that's the thing. In the real world, whether it's real or imagined, dogs are. We look at dogs as protectors, and that they can perceive things that we cannot, and perhaps even protect us from things we can't perceive. People believe that dogs can sense bad people, which I don't believe is true.
No.
But that's stuff you can run with in a game. You can make your gaming canines more fantastic.
Tuckatut says, what do we think about creating a monster from scratch here from the chat? I like that. We could do that here in a little bit. Maybe at the end we'll do that. Create a monster. Don't let us forget, Tonka. Sounds good.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
So, okay. Two things, Mr. Guile or Gwill. Which is it?
Which one is it, David? Is it Guile or Gwill? Because I've heard Ryan David call it Gwill, and we've always called you Guile. So
because your name is spelled Guy with 2 L's, so Guile makes sense to me. But
inquiring minds want to know.
Anyway, the other thing is you said up top here a little bit, Doodle Squatch. What is that?
What?
Gwill. So Gwill. So Ryan David is correct.
It is Gwill. Okay. So we've been screwing your name up forever. You're welcome.
Yeah, we've always said Guile.
I like it. David's got a lot of guile.
Doodle Squatch is what? And Ryan. All right, guys, I'm on the road and actually need to try to sleep. Oh, don't sleep while you're on the road. You'll crash. Since I've
travel day.
Oh, catch you guys soon.
Brother.
All right.
Get some shut eye.
I didn't hear that. Okay. I listened to when he interviewed. Maybe you were on with them before.
He said, to be fair, Ryan asked how to say it before his show.
Sure.
Yeah, we assume your gender. We assume everything. So, yeah, that's how we do.
We get to do that. We're white guys.
That's right. We're white guys. We have all the privilege, you know.
We get to assume things.
We assume we're going to be out of the hobby, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, man, we're not talking about monsters.
No. So, yes. How about them monsters?
How about the monsters? Yeah. So, do you think it's better? I mean, do you like the idea? If you were DMing, Joe, now you're probably not the right person to ask this, but I'll ask anyway. If you're going to create a new monster, are you more likely to just put a twist on an old one? Or are you going to sit down and create your own dude? This is going to be a brand new creature.
Either a mashup or twist on twist on an old one. That's more what I do.
Yeah, me too.
The last monster I thought up of that I told you about was a rock that is in a dungeon, and it cleans up the messes, kind of like a gelatinous cube, but it's full of diseases because it exists on the floor and it eats anything, and it doesn't really move very fast. But if you happen to be sitting next to one and fall asleep, you could be in trouble.
Oh, interesting. That's not bad. I think Jack the 71st says he prefers to sit down and create a new one. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool too.
Yeah, I think that's neat. When I have time, I've been tempted. I've always bounced this off to run an adventure with you guys with not a single monster you recognize. And I could always. It would be easy to like port you to another plane for that adventure where you're facing off just weird crap. I mean, nothing's familiar. It doesn't have to be chaos, crazy stuff, but just a completely different world where you don't recognize anything. But I think it'd be more fun to just have like maybe an ancient dungeon where a mage had summoned all these creatures from different worlds and made a few things, and he had put magics on it to preserve them. And so you get there, when you kill them, you literally kill all the monsters, and there's nothing there. You've killed them all, and you've killed a bunch of unique creatures.
or I think, how about this? You go there, and maybe you kill some of them,
right?
But what your bumblings around the dungeon release more than you kill, and you've just released a bunch of who knows what on the world.
Yeah, I agree, David. If a monster fits, you just use it. DM Blackwell. I've never heard this term. Have we heard the term called layering?
Templates. It's like templates.
Oh, let you make a boss monster really fast, take 2 existing stat blocks, combine them into the same body. It gains, and actions. That would be, yeah, that's the thing. That would be, I've done that.
Oh, it's for a boss monster. Okay, so you take an orc and a ghoul, and you make a thing with that, and now you have your boss monster.
I created a vampire werewolf back in 1st edition.
Yeah.
And everybody called it the Ringer. So he could
cheat button.
He could inflict lycanthropy, and he drained 2 levels every bite and claw. So it was pretty sweet. And he had all the immunities of a vampire and a werewolf. So he was pretty terrifying. Needless to say, it did not die. The party did run. So.
Yeah. Better part of valor.
That's right. Good decision. When you're creating these monsters, Joe, is this the right word? How do you keep the verisimilitude? Should you worry about it, or you just go crazy?
Sometimes, I mean, it depends. So, let's say this gelatinous cube, intelligent. It's a unique thing. So, who cares about verisimilitude?
But like
it's one thing.
Okay.
But if you're creating a monster and you intend for it to fit into your world in some kind of way where it has a niche or it fulfills some sort of thing for you as a DM, then maybe worry about verisimilitude. But if you're just making a one-off, I say go to town.
Okay. So it doesn't matter if your game's normally gonzo or not. Just go. So if I want to have a 10-foot tall kobold breathing fire, go for it.
Well, maybe he's the result of a curse, or maybe some magic gone awry, or something like that. But I mean, you're not in a otherwise, like say, Middle Earth type setting. You're not going to have that kind of thing running around.
I'm going to star this and come back to it. Iron Man, I think he's given us our idea, and let's help him out tonight. When we end this topic, which will be in a little while, his setting needs a fearsome creature that lives at tops of high altitude mountains, but comes down to the forest in the spring and summer. It creates a reason civilization growth. A reason for civilization growth is halted at the it's the reason civilization growth is halted at the forest. You need that. If you would like, I will propose to Joe and everyone here that we eventually, not now, don't start spamming us with ideas yet, but we'll use that as our basic concept, and let's build a creature for Iron Man. What do you think?
Okay, that sounds good. Another good place for what you just said, the giant kobold fire breathing thing, would be an underground location. So it's not something that runs around causing mayhem and being known to the greater world. But let's say there's a giant cavern underground, like the Balrog.
Yep.
Maybe it's a Balrog type thing that's been summoned from some abyssal location, and it exists underground, deep in a cavern.
Mm-hmm.
So even if the rest of the world is fairly normal, having things like that that kind of throws a monkey wrench every once in a while into the works, keeps players on their toes.
And you might keep yourself on your toe. Mr. Bob Wynn talked about having a narrative reason for monsters, and I agree. Darth says if you're using a unique creature, you either really need to set the environment to help depict the creature, or set up research that helps set the creature in the world. I like to do that, but you could also just throw that 10-foot tall kobold breathing fire, and then let the players figure out why it's there. I told you that's a strategy I use all the time. I'm just going to let this happen. See what the
Let's say
think.
you've come up with the monster and you really like it.
Yep.
But you don't have time to come up with the rationale before you play. That's a great reason to let your players wonder about it out loud. Then you scribble down furiously behind the DM screen and say, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea." And then you pick one of the ideas, the one you like best or whatever from the players, the one that hurts the worst.
Yeah. Sometimes I make a monster because I'm like, this would be a cool monster that could paralyze half the party with one spell. That would be awesome. Just to challenge a really tough party. And I mean, I can make it really like he has a really good chance to do it one time a day or something. Sometimes I think of a monster based upon a power I want to happen.
Yeah.
Other times it's more like, this would be kind of a weird looking dude, and why would he be here? And this necromancer's been hanging around for a while. Maybe he would do some stuff with the creatures around the place. Do you think, put your player hat on again real quick, Joe?
Okay.
You think your homebrew, if you sit down to play in a campaign, if a DM has a lot of homebrew monsters, does it make it better? Do you even notice?
It depends.
Let's say his ability as a dungeon master is satisfying.
Yeah.
Is satisfactory at a minimum. So you're not disappointed in him as a DM.
Okay.
All things being equal, if he comes in with all this homebrew stuff, overrunning monsters out of the book, are you like, dude, that's super cool? Or are you like, oh, that's all right, I can take it.
It depends on how well he delivers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's cool that he's come up with interesting. It's cool that he's come up with unique stuff. That is cool. If the delivery is good too, then it's super cool. I don't care what monsters you got in your world. I'm not married to any of that as a player. Now, if you, let's say it's a homebrew world and we're exploring it and we don't know as players a lot about it, it helps. It could help. It depends on the setup. So if you have a bunch of bumpkins from, very safe part of the world where monsters don't come around very much, they may not know much. But if you have characters that have been around, they should know something.
Right.
Whether it's true or not, who knows, but they should know something. But if you have a bunch of unique creatures that are not in any books, that are just endemic to the homebrew world, it probably behooves the DM a little bit, depending on the makeup of the character and the campaign and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you might just throw the players in the deep end and say, figure it out.
True.
And that might be fine with the players. But some DMs might want to say, okay, all bets are off. You know about this one creature and this other creature and this third creature, but the rest of the world you're not too sure about. So it all depends on the situation.
Objective 71st says, I think it does because it shows the DM cares. The campaign is solid. Yeah, probably. It could just be that he just wants to make up crazy stuff. But I think you got a point. I think a DM that makes the effort to make... I'm always pleased when a DM is making the effort to make a homebrew monster. Partially because I'm an old, jaded, experienced dungeon master. I mean, at one time, and I'm not lying, you could not have put a monster manual 1 monster on the table that I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't have the stats perfectly memorized, but I knew it. I knew probably some of its resistances. I probably could tell you its type. I mean, I had it down pat. Mr. Boivin makes the point, this conversation reminds me of the movie The Brotherhood of the Wolf. I like that one. A cool monster movie with a disappointing reveal. I agree. The monster was a little weak. Wasn't it basically a spoiler?
Yeah.
Spoiler. It was a boar, right?
Yeah. Nothing special.
And it was such a cool...
I mean, it was kind of pushed. It was rabid maybe or something.
Yeah. And by boar, I mean a pig.
Yeah.
Big pig.
It was just a regular animal, and they had the dude rig up something.
David Will says it was a lion, I thought. I think it was kind of dressed up to look more fearsome. I thought it was a boar. I don't know.
It was something. It was something normal.
A normal creature. Yeah, I was hoping it was something really... And when they had that scene it was a scene where those guys had it in the pit, and all you saw was shadow as they were doing some dance or ritual, and you're thinking, this thing is going to be awesome. Oh, there you go. It was a regular animal, some regular animal and some armor. Yes. Yeah. Right. It wasn't clearly said. Okay.
Yeah. Some dude had trained it harshly, so it was very fierce. And it was sent out on purpose. A little bit like the Hound of the Baskervilles, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that ended up being just, there wasn't a monster in that either.
Oh, but, yeah. Well, I think he has the write-up. He says the wiki says a lion. Okay, fair enough. I thought it was a boar.
I don't remember.
It's just not. Duncan Todd says he's from South Arkansas, and there ain't nothing normal about a boar hog. Yes, that's true. My uncle hunted them. He said they are not to be screwed with.
I understand they might be tasty, though.
They can be. I would imagine if they're really old, it's probably not so great.
Well, that's with just about any kind of creature.
Yeah, true.
You hunt them at the right time, they're probably tasty.
So I think players would notice if they're not a newbie player, because a kobold could be new to a brand new player. I mean, my wife thought kobolds were, what are they, like little dragonling things or little lizard dudes or whatever?
How cute.
Yeah, she liked Meepo from that one adventure in 3rd edition. Probably because the way I played him. This is a weird question, but I want to find a way to ask it. Do you prefer... would you be? I guess you would be fine if the game's good. A DM could run a campaign with just monsters from the books, and you'd have a good time, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I think I'd like to
have a good time with homemade or not. I don't get As a player, I try not to get into the monster books. That way, I can be surprised and be a better player in that I play like a character probably would be who doesn't know what the deal is.
Point of order, Hungar is still here. Good to know.
Wow. I was getting nervous. I thought he wasn't around anymore and I was going to be sad.
And Tonka Todd's going to make you hungry. He says you hunt the piglets, slap them on the grill, add barbecue sauce, and you got some fine eating, Joe.
Oh, whole?
Do it, man.
I mean, just throw it whole on there like that. I know when you roast a pig, you just throw it on a spit and all that.
Well, you got to gut them, right? Got to get all the innards on the outwards.
As far as I know. But
so, what do you think of a world where? Does anybody out there? I'm going to throw this out to the chat. Does anybody have a world? Iron Man might, where every single monster you use is homebrewed. I've never even thought of that idea.
Well, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
As a player who doesn't get into the monster books,
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know the difference necessarily. Depends on if they're running a D&D campaign and none of the monsters were familiar, then I would know because I've played a lot of D&D or Pathfinder, which is essentially the same thing, and it uses a lot of the same framework, we'll say. So yeah, it wouldn't matter to me. It all depends on how the DM runs the game. I can have fun with playing, fighting orcs or totally new stuff. It doesn't matter.
Arman says he has a dungeons or locations like demands that are unique, but not the whole world. I think Jack the Seventh implies, yeah, he said yes. Is that yes, you have done that, or yes, you do that? You do completely unique everything.
Oh, yes, I do this. Question: have y'all ever given thought to what happens if monster meat is eaten or what body parts can be used for, like wizard, whatever? Yeah, that's me.
Joe's always saying we should eat that.
Was it a 13th Age or Savage Worlds?
Yeah.
And I was like, can we eat this?
Yeah. No, it was my recent
BX.
My BX game. You wanted to eat the Umber Hulk.
Yeah. Is it good eating?
Yeah.
There was a frog. Was it a frog creature of some kind?
Yes, there was a frog creature in the Savage World.
Of course, there was a giant crocodile or alligator. We know that you can eat that.
You guys did eat it.
We did.
Dude, Joe eats all my monsters. I don't understand it. I think he's hungry. I think that's what he's trying to tell me. Randy, you got any more food in there? I'm hungry. So I try to feed him when he's here.
Well, just thinking about what you might do as an adventurer,
mm-hmm.
You're going to save your rations. What's better, fresh meat, rations? I'll go with the fresh meat.
Yes, fair enough. Oh yeah, and it's going to last. I mean, well, how well can you prepare in the wild to save it? I guess if you have some salt, you could salt it.
It all depends on the circumstances. Salt is one way. You can smoke meat as well.
Okay.
And I mean, if you just don't have the capacity to carry the extra, you just leave it out for scavengers. Someone's going to eat it.
Yeah, Darth said that's what you did with the crocodile. That's what I liked about AD&D 2E. It gave options for what you could use monster parts for. Yeah, I think that was in the monster manual.
Yeah, I think the dragon. The biggest thing was what's inside.
Yes,
there might have even been some Dragon magazine articles.
Oh, that was back in 1E days. You guys would always cut. Like one time, I put a magic sword, I put like a magic ring inside the belly of a land shark. And you guys kept cutting everything open after that. What's inside it? What's inside?
What's inside?
Jack the 71st says one thing good. The problem is the monster meat tainted by foul sorcery. Yeah, that could be a problem.
Could be. Could have bad dreams after that.
I have done this, Hungar. Did you ever give your monsters a class like fighter levels? Yes, especially giants, just like you killed Joe's wizard.
As if they need it.
I felt like they needed
in third edition they did.
Third edition.
especially when you got to higher level, you definitely needed them to have fighter levels.
Oh, and if you're at the
They did
higher
a lot
level,
of damage, but they didn't hit a lot.
no, and they could die fast because you could do boatloads of damage.
Yeah.
Have you had any particularly good experiences with homebrewed monsters that you're like, you remember, wow, that was really cool?
In particular.
Yeah.
Well, their Seven Spheres campaign had some unique things in it.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while. It did.
But I can't remember the specifics.
What was the one? There was a giant that was possessed by a demon called Legion.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool. And that was a combo. I'm trying to remember if there were others. I know I did some that were pretty. I mixed things up quite a bit. How about bad experiences? Oh, I'll tell you one good one I had as a player. There was a guy. Let's see, who were they called? They were way back in second edition at Gen Con. Ludin. I'm going to spell it in the chat. Ludinn. Somewhere I have the booklet. The City of Adventure is what it was called. And they also did Land of Adventure. They came to Gen Con, and the first time we were like 9th level characters, and we're supposed to storm this like keep or this outpost that was taken over by orcs. And we're like between 7th and 9th level. And we're thinking, what? We're going to fight orcs? Whatever. I think he even said black orcs. And we get down there, like 8 of them show up, and we fight them for like 7 rounds. And at the end, we're like, holy crap, how many hit points they have? He goes, 90. That's average for a black orc. That was the first time I was ever exposed to someone really like, at first we were like, wait a minute, that's kind of ingenious. Because he described them as big, more bestial. They were all pushing 7 feet, super strong. We're like, they're just stupid orcs, whatever. No, they were not whatever. They were just 90 hit points apiece, dude.
Right. And that is kind of what somehow, remember orcs from early editions, they were scrawny. They weren't big.
Yeah.
And then suddenly in 3rd edition, the half orc was humongous.
Was bigger than the orcs.
Bigger than the humans. And I'm like, well, where'd that come from?
I prefer the 3rd edition art. I prefer orcs with tusks. I don't mind the pig face, but I want them to be big. I want orcs to average over 6 feet in my world.
I think making them more bestial, making them less human looking is better.
Yes, agreed.
So not strictly a monster, is more of a mashup. He was trying to do a 3rd edition version of the Scarlet Brotherhood. So the Scarlet Brotherhood, they were mage assassins.
I think so.
And so what he did was
they were devil worshippers too.
Yeah, they were bad. They were bad people.
Nobody experts on Greyhawk here. It's been a while. I used to know Greyhawk well.
But while the idea of the Scarlet Brotherhood is cool, what he did was, so if you had in an older, like if you're converting an old module that has a certain amount of those guys in it, and a 3rd level, say a 3rd level or a 5th level, instead of figuring out what that might mean for 3rd edition, he just made them 3rd level assassin, 3rd level wizard, or 5th level assassin, 5th level wizard.
Right.
And I'm like, these guys are wicked tough.
Right.
We have to, they were overpowered. We had to run.
That was your buddy in DC, right?
Yeah. And I was like, how did you make them? So then when I asked him that, he told me how he made them. I'm like, holy crap, dude.
I did not that there's, we're not a big fan of CR, but I think I mentioned this before. The very first venture I ever ran in 3rd edition, I had a group of 5th level characters. So I thought I would have them fight a vampire who was both a 5th level wizard and a 5th level monk. And I didn't figure that out right. I did the CR. He kicked the living poop out of that party. I think they were 8th level. He's still just flurry of blows, drain level, 4 levels, 4 levels. So that was crazy. I'm like, this is really tough. Our man made a good comment. This is not so much a new monster, but this is interesting. He says, most memorable are standard monsters in crazy situations. He refers to a ship of slod monsters hunting our ship on the seas of Tar, on the Tar Plain. Islands of Flame were not used as refuge. Right on. That's cool.
Whole ship full of slod. Holy crap.
Yes, Darth, it was brutal, but I did learn after I killed
Yeah, the characters should have run, David.
Yeah, they should
Except
have.
we only had so far we could go. We were in a dungeon.
Dude,
It was super brutal.
and he was a monk vampire. Where are you going to run, really, that he can't catch you?
Oh, we're talking about two different things.
Oh,
David.
I'm sorry.
I said that we had to run from the overpowered
Yes.
enemies. So that to me was a bad experience because I think that so in the old DMG, the advice was that the DM should take delight in killing endless hordes of player characters.
Well, here's how it was framed. Actually, it was that you should not. You should not delight. I think it was should not. Is what Gary said.
I don't think so.
Do not delight in killing endless hordes of players. I think so. I could look it up, but I'm not going to.
So, but that's how he was. His fun was killing us. So if he made the monsters too tough or tougher than they should have been, then that was fine.
Cal, this is true in the early D&D 1E. Random roll for orcs comes up at 300. It could. What you going to do? Well, I think
the DM needs to figure out what that means. You're not going to turn the corner. You're not going to turn the corner and suddenly there's 300 orcs.
They're clearly a war party,
yeah.
And they're going to have scouts, and so you might kill a group of scouts. One gets away, and you hear a bunch whooping up. You might, send your ranger up in a tree, and you look and you go, "Holy balls, we need to leave."
Now, you might be able to. Okay, so I'm thinking of the scene from Dune, where Paul and Jessica kind of happen to be in the same place as a whole siege full of Fremen. If you're familiar with Dune at all, these are basically Arabian monks with high-tech water reclamation suits that were in a desert full of gigantic dinosaur-sized worms. So, and they were very stealthy. So they just blundered into these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, there they are. Orcs aren't like that.
No.
Typically. They're not very stealthy. But what if they were? If you had orcs, just the only thing you change about the orc,
they're super stealthy.
They're super stealthy.
Oh, wow.
That would change a lot. And that's not a big change, but it could change a lot. Lots of ambushes and, mayhem.
David Will says, I wouldn't take delight in killing PCs because it's too easy. True. Just throw a multi-class vampire, monk, whatever at the party. Oh, I forgot one thing. So it was a 5th level monk, 5th level wizard who had haste. He cast haste, and then he went flurry of death. I was dropping players.
Was that 1E haste?
That was 3rd edition haste.
Yeah, I mean third edition haste. 3-0 or
3-0, which means he's a monk vampire. So his flurry of blows is 4 attacks a round. So I was dropping 8, so I could kill a character per round if I hit all 4.
Oh yeah. If you hit.
If I hit, when I hit.
Yeah. But just imagine that you have the kind of orcs you're talking about that are big and tough, but also stealthy.
Bruce says, a good question. Has nobody discussed modifying a monster with advanced bestiary by Owen K.C. Stevens? No, but I know that's something you love. And using book rules to modify, like the Mythic handbook, the Epic level handbook, things like, I know 3rd edition was very famous for all these templates. That's a great way to mod a monster and make it have a really cool feel. Like I created a spell-touched Adiug one time. So you
were also fond of templating dragons out the butt.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Dragons with every template you can imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially with the Draconomicon for 3E was
That's exactly where I was going.
That was fabulous.
Dracolich with I don't know what other templates you had on that thing, but it was insane.
My favorite was energy admixture for their breath weapon. So you could have a red dragon that would breathe ice, or like that one really big one we talked about a while back that I spent 4 hours creating, could breathe every type of energy type there was. That was pretty cool.
Is Advanced Bestiary that Bruce is talking about, is that for Dragons as a Pathfinder book?
I think it's a third-party one, right?
Third-party Pathfinder?
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking it up right now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's shown this before in his. It's got a bad cover, dude. It's really cool. I'm going to share this because it's so cool. Bruce may have it before me.
Bruce, you're a sick puppy.
This is sweet.
That's a nice cover.
Isn't that a cool cover?
Yeah, it's not worth $200 though. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, it's $200 now?
It's right there.
I didn't even look at the price. Holy crap!
It's 7 used from. I'm not even paying $76 for that. Probably can get it on. Probably can get it as a PDF on Drive Through.
Oh yeah, Drive Through, our non-favorite one. Yeah. It was a 3. So it's a 3.0 and Pathfinder book. Okay. Well, they all work. 3.x and Pathfinder work almost.
Probably could find it on eBay for much less than that.
Maybe.
That's from Amazon.
All right.
If it's that popular though, maybe not. But yes, Bruce is a sick puppy.
Yeah.
I like using a team of Lamia monks.
Aha.
When I feel the party needs to drop wisdom, give the ladies a few skill ranks of seduction, and they'll drop wisdom during coitus. Coitus.
And coitus.
Happy Valentine's Day. Yes.
Yeah. Well, the succubus was always the natural gotcha monster.
Correct.
I always thought it's really. I mean, my players were like, I got them once back in the day, suckered one of them into a little rendezvous up in the tavern with the succubus, but you never can catch them again because you can only do that to a player once. It'll be like, I'm never going. My player's a eunuch. My DM's my character's a eunuch.
Yeah, well, see, and that's kind of an assumption. I guess most guys would fall for that, but I usually play a character that isn't just going to drop trough or anything. So
yeah, no, I don't think so either. That's a little lame. You have to be more creative, and that's okay. It pushes the DM.
mm-hmm.
DM Blackwell says 3.5e Draconomicon, yes, was great. Agreed. Really enjoyed the variant dragons. Also like Weapons of Legacy. I did too. I thought it was a little underappreciated. I don't remember 50 mini adventures, but had unique treasures and some cool ways to. That's one thing I think third edition was strong at. It gave you lots of options as far as creatures go. Oh, David had some trouble with drive-through. Just tried blaming us for a printing. What? Us as in you and your wife, David? That we published like 7 years ago? Oh, okay. That's weird.
That's the thing. The printing process isn't flawless. I mean, for the most part it is, but you can get some duds. Why can't they own up to that crap? How hard is it?
He says someone got a print copy without an issue for years. Then one person gets a messed up copy and they blame you.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
No, that's weak sauce.
We won't do that. We will replace without, if something like that happens, we go to Lulu. I think, yeah. So we had a person who got a book with the cover was right, the interior was wrong. And we contacted Lulu. They replaced it, no questions. I'm pretty sure that's how that worked out.
Lady One's going next level on the succubus. So a succubus infected with mummy rot or leprosy sounds pretty brutal. Oh, man, dude. Biggest Geeka says, Bruce, wait, you never had a TPK with a side?
No. Bruce says, biggest geekus.
Wait. That's what he says. He says, wait, for us to wait. You never had a TPK with a sign in the woods, nude dancing elven girls this way. And yeah, you find there's some Grell elves. That's from Hackmaster. Okay, carnivore elves, yeah. Dude.
That's like Bugs Bunny level stuff there.
That's sweet, though. Fall for it, if you will.
Yeah, that's right, David. Lulu will replace without any hassle. You contact them, say there was a problem, poof, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have to. All we had to do was let them know.
Yep. Let's say we try to do Arnman's idea if we can find it back up here. It was a creature in the mountain. Can you see the starter ones, or do you still got to scroll back?
So it's in the mountains, and it comes down every once in a while, and that's why the civilization stays away from the forest. It keeps back from the forest.
High level, high altitude mountains. It could be a flyer. Someone mentioned a Yeti being the basis of the creature. but he wants it to halt civilization. So maybe it's a creature of vengeance, creature that avenges nature in some way. What do you think?
That could be. It's a trope that I don't care for, but
okay.
Right. I mean, you can't cut down any trees. Never cut down a tree because that's harming the forest, which is stupid.
It's stupid, but it doesn't have to be that severe.
But
you don't abuse it.
If you want a creature that demands that this forest remain pristine, untouched, except by it when it moves through it, it's like pass without trace or whatever that other ability is that druids can get, where they can move through natural terrain without disturbing it. So it can, but civilization, you stay there. This forest is my domain. It's pristine. You can't come in it. That's fine.
So our man likes the Yeti type. He should be intelligent, so a smarter Yeti. Cal suggested a Quagoth. Maybe they think they come from the mountains, but they come from underneath the mountains. That's a possibility.
Sure.
A Yeti. How about something stealthy? So they could be scary because they are fearsome, but maybe they're stealthy. And when they come down from the mountain, they're hard to see. Maybe they have some sort of blending ability.
Maybe they do something that, like the Earth Glide.
Mm-hmm.
They have Earth Glide. They can just flow right through the natural surroundings without issue.
Right. Maybe there's a tribe of them. And to play off Joe's disdain for the nature thing, what if they have a shaman who's a demon worshiper? And so they've been infected by a demonic virus, and they come down, and their normal desire to be one with nature makes them more violent. And if anybody does anything remotely related to cutting trees down, they start kicking butt and taking names. So it could be that they're not necessarily that violent of their own, but maybe that's the cool trick, that behind them is this shaman Yeti, a Yeti who's a shaman, and he follows some demon, and he's made them kind of perverted their natural woodland, quote unquote, understanding.
The shaman's Yeti nature is hidden. So you think he's just a old dude with a staff and some bones. You go up and punch him in the nose, and he turns into a Yeti and eats your face.
And Boivin says Sasquatch naturally blurry. Yep. That would be kind of cool.
That's why no one gets good pictures of him.
Yep.
Yeah, he has a distortion field around him.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Jack the Seventh, woodland dragon with druidic ability. That could be a single creature. Yeah. I like the idea of it more being a tribe of them, so that no matter how you try to approach the mountain, it's very dangerous. So it wouldn't just be a single creature, though it could seem like a single creature because they could all look almost identical.
Either they, or maybe there are some Ents that are sentinel Ents that are along the edge of the forest that alert. So your first encounter won't be necessarily with them, with the Sasquatchy things, but will be with these sentinel Ents that keep you from despoiling the forest, and send a signal off to the other guys, and in X number of rounds or whatever, they show up.
Our man seems to like it. He says, dang, a shaman that is friendly with the creatures, a loner hermit has a ton of possibilities. And he's a fan of human monsters, so your shaman could be a human. I like that idea, Joe. That's pretty good. Kind of weird. Tunka Todd says, what about a creature that is a cross between a Yeti and a flying squirrel? Its dark fur and being a night hunter makes it hard to spot. Ooh.
That big. Wow.
Yeah. Kind of like the New Jersey Devil. It's a huge thing, but we can barely anybody can barely see it. Cal says, it's Valentine's Day. No single creatures allowed. Our man likes the short flight. So we got a flying Yeti creature. And there's a group of them, so they can be all over the place. So you can't get to the mountain some other secret pass. Hungar gives a second vote for humans. He likes them as monsters. I think Boivin likes them too. I know in 3rd edition that would be a headache because you had to stat up NPCs, which could be a bit annoying.
Yeah, but you've solved that issue.
Oh, true. I just make up
You
stats.
just you have you essentially have default stats.
Oh, I do. Yes.
You just use a default stat that seems like it works, and go with it.
Yeah, and don't vary. And I give them and if they're moderate to high level characters, they get a couple magic items. I won't worry about, shouldn't they have a +4 armor because the armor class is this? Nope, they don't. How did they do that? They were good. All right, next. I mean, I don't have to explain to you why my monsters and NPCs do what they do. You just got to deal with it. So, Jack the Seventh. Here's a twist for you, Yarn Man. Perhaps the hermit or hermits mutated into these things. Interesting.
Yeah, and it could be a function of the forest. If a person decides to take up residence in that forest, perhaps it's either a gift or a curse, kind of like in, it's kind of both, kind of in, book, wizard book. I can't remember it now.
For what now? Which book does what? Cal, love those creatures. Pen and Gallons, yes, very cool. Head detaches, guts hanging out.
Jim Butcher books.
The Dresden Files.
Dresden Files, right? So he has an island, and on that island is essentially a Sasquatch, it can appear as kind of a Sasquatchy thing, but it's more like a genus. What is it? Genus? I guess in D&D, when you saw them in the monster manual, they're it could be like a storm. Genus loci or a locus, a genus. It's basically a force of nature. But
okay.
Right. But I was getting my books all mixed up.
Our man's coming. Looks like it's coming around for him. Flying Yeti weir squirrels are looking promising. The hermit is lycanthropic. Yeah. He might be connected to him that way. That's cool.
He's a transformer. More than meets the eye.
Killraven asks a very good point if you want to get deep into this, Arnman. Seems like some of these depends on how advanced the civilization it's keeping at bay is. What would keep some primitive farm folk at bay is much different than what would stifle more advanced sorts. Yeah, especially if they have magic. So who's encroaching, right? Who's encroaching?
Well, because if the PCs just happen upon this location, the civilization that's being kept at bay is the locals, are the locals.
But it could be a big city right next to the mountain.
Could be.
And so they might be advanced, like they might have powerful magic users and stuff. So how are they keeping them at bay versus, people with pitchforks? Bruce told us to look at pics on.
Yes, I'm doing that right now. I'll be sharing that in a moment.
Okay, you do that because I was starting to do that. Then I realized I have no skills with Discord, so I'll just stop now if that's okay. Hungar in his game. I heard you say this once. In his game, druids are evil. Ooh,
that's one possible.
All you need are wings, or just the ability to fly.
Yeah. Not every. Yeah, there's so many things that don't have wings that fly in D&D. I like the first one, but I like not that one. This one I think I like better.
Okay. Is your wife doing stuff to you here? I'm looking at pics of Johnny Depp, really. Who's doing that? Not me.
Someone's a poser.
Someone is posing. All right, Powder Puff.
I'm gonna revoke your laptop privileges here in a minute.
Kenny, I think that's a felony to pretend to be a member of Biggest Geekus in
identity theft.
Identity theft. Well, of course, Tim Scott. He says tree hugging hippies. Yeah, they better be. She's getting you, dude. Oh no! Oh, Joe has left the building. Run, Powder Puff, run! He's coming, and Elf's coming with him. Darth's idea, if Lady likes it. I must have missed it. What did Darth say? forest elemental like swamp thing with the ability to emulate creature abilities and appearances, plus can teleport. Ooh, if you want a solo creature. Well done, Darth. Dig that, Arn Man. A forest elemental, kind of like the swamp thing. You could go, super nature loving crazy if you wanted to. That is not. Oh, Joe's getting after her. Oh, guys, these are good ideas. What do you think, Arn Man? Is that you sticking with the weird squirrel thing? Yeah, but Darth has got a good one if you want a solo beast. Swamp thing. Forest elemental swamp thing, yeah. Form of a treant, shape of a rock. That would be sweet. Hard to stop. Oh, here's Jack the Seventh. Maybe you Jack the 71st. The forest is alive, and perhaps it is the monster. Maybe this, especially if it's a big city, maybe they've done so much crap to the forest over the years, it's fighting back now. Ooh, interesting. What's that, Tim Scott? Kelly is loving on Joe's love for Johnny Depp. Okay. And Martinson is wondering if he is witnessing a Valentine's Day massacre. If you're witnessing it, I'm wondering where you're at, Martinson, because you should not be seeing it. None of us should be seeing it. Oh. Well, Arn Man, have we given you at least some food for thought, brother? Think we've helped you create some beast you could be satisfied with? I'll be expecting the invite for the game so I can come fight this Earth Elemental Yeti demon worshipping dude. That is cool. Yeah. Arn Man says he likes the idea of the forest elemental too. Just a handful of them exist. They are secretive and like Yeti. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, Tonka Todd. Joe's afraid. So, but not me. I'm a dungeon master. Monsters don't scare me. Not at all. Patrick Demo says, not the ending to a Valentine's Day stream I was expecting. Oh, who knows? Started out as a fight. Joe may be busy for the rest of the night. I'm not really sure. I would tell you to do the things, but subscribe, like, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. I don't have the ability to show the. I might. Is this the banner? Oh, that's that. Oh, I found something. Look at Randy. I found stuff. It's just the ticker. Like, share, donate. Oh, Randy. Don't tell Joe. I'm looking through stuff. Shh. Don't tell him he's back. He's back.
Yes. I had to subdue her.
Martinson started off with the Valentine's Day massacre. Everybody was wondering, is it a pic of Johnny? I was over here messing around with stuff.
Right. I just had to use the bathroom and
I
get to energy drink.
Slap the old lady around. I understand. Sometimes you got to keep them in line. I do not encourage nor participate in.
If she doesn't stop this, though, I will take away the laptop.
You have reached maximum joke.
Maximum shenanigans.
Oh, Killraven added a sweet little thing, Arn Man. Have the Yeti things be what the people the forest takes are transformed into. What if the forest elemental swamp thing grabs the people that are doing bad nature things and then turns them into the Yeti dudes? Oh.
So then you're killing the villagers.
That would cut down on the deforestation.
That would stink.
That would be hilarious. Oh, all right. I think Arn Man may have enough to work on from here. I tried to tell him to like and subscribe, but I don't have access to the cool stuff. I did manage to put your ticker.
You can't click on brand.
I didn't see brand. Oh,
yes,
it's new stuff.
It says brand.
Oh, I didn't even see it. Haha, old one.
So yeah, that's the old one.
Cool, man. Oh, I wish I'd found that earlier. Subscribe, like, Cool peoples.
Do all the YouTube things. And if you're listening on your podcatcher after the fact, do everything in that app to help us out. Like follow us, give us a review, leave commentary here on YouTube. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your friends about us and your enemies.
Yes, especially your enemies, because then they'll probably hate us, and that'll be great. We can be their enemies too.
We can get some good reviews we can laugh at.
Yeah.
Like the mouth breathers one from.
That's the ancient days. I'm not sure many of these folks even remember the mouth breather comment.
Yeah, we were called mouth breathers.
But you know what? We won that dude over, at least for a moment. He probably hates us again.
Yeah, he kept talking. He accused us of being MAGA.
Well, I'm not too far from the MAGA people. Joe is not. That's crazy town for Joe. But I've lost my MAGA steam.
You've lost that love and feeling.
Look at us, man. We're being all lovey-dovey on Valentine's Day. Isn't that cool? All right. So this third segment, if you want to go to it, do you want to go to that, Joe, or not?
Let's see.
Do you recognize our hobby, the ways we participate? It kind of comes on the heels of, and it's kind of connected to what the basic expert's going to talk about with Jenny D kind of being, what did she say? She was
Burned out.
And,
okay. For those who aren't in the know, Jenny D is very, very, very young.
Yes.
She's
4. Oh, no. She's not that young. What is she? Probably 20 something?
At best.
Really? She's young. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the amount of makeup the chick wears, who knows? But she does look very young, in her 20s. And she said she only started playing D&D 3 years ago. So how can you be burned out on a game, on role-playing, the hobby? She might have been just talking about the hobby. After a mere 3 years.
I would say maybe if you're not really that invested in the hobby in the first place. And I'm not knocking her. It's cool to be a casual gamer. Are we sure about that, Cal?
Will?
She
already has?
Okay, I don't know.
Are you meaning because she was upset about the whole OGL thing as well? At least publicly.
Not the white guys get out. She never made a comment about that.
Well, no, she interviewed the guy.
Hmm.
So I didn't see the interview. I don't know if she was amenable to that. I don't think so specifically. I think that she thought it was not helpful, but she's 31. Okay, that's possible.
She just looks young.
Yeah,
but she might be she's only been in the hobby a couple of years. To be burnt out, it could be that she's playing a lot. I mean, I can imagine if for 3 years you're playing, 3-4 times a week, that could get bad.
Right. And this is probably true.
That's what I thought.
No, wrong. That's the one I was aiming for. Probably because she doesn't know how to say no and to set boundary, according to Mr. Max. And that's probably true because apparently she, it doesn't matter. You play whatever. I'm good with whatever. But she's really not. And I don't think most people really are built for whatever.
Yeah. I do think Armin has a point. This is the few videos I've seen her in, and I'm talking snippets. It did seem to be more about the cosplay and not the playing.
Well, she talks about being a DM all the time too.
Yeah, does she? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll give it to her then. Okay, that's fine.
It would be okay. So there's this YouTube channel called Man Shorts.
Yep.
Okay, and she was in one of their skits. So, I think she is a player, or she probably is a DM, but she's probably more into the theatrics of it all. Probably.
Martin just said she is a cosplayer, and I'm not
definitely a cosplayer.
I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying maybe that's more.
Yeah, she's into theatrics.
Okay, and maybe it's too much, so she could be burnt out on. This is kind of connected to what I'm talking about in this segment, right? Like Joe, here we play games, not as much as we like. We talk about playing games a whole lot now that we did before, but we do that when we're together with our friends, when we're on the YouTubes.
That's really why both of our wives said we should do this.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that was Jenny's or Joe's wife was the first to say it, and my wife's like, "Yeah, that's perfect for you guys." watching and listening to YouTube and podcast about gaming, participating in other podcasts a little bit. We've been on a few people's shows. We do like that. I attend conventions. We're talking about building a convention. We consume other media. I don't watch live plays much, but some people do. We watch movies related to it, fantasy movies and videos, read books, talk about gaming, try to create games or create adventures. Boy, I mean, sometimes I think it's no wonder that I might would feel burnt out. I mean, I wonder if Jenny D does that much. I'm not knocking her, I'm just wondering. If she does, I could see maybe in 3 years you could get a little. Is that what it is? MANN shorts?
Yeah, 2 N's.
Oh, that's probably why I've not. Well, I don't know if I found it or not.
And they're funny little skits, but it's like I get not burned out, but if it's the same shtick the whole time, it has to be a really good one to hold my attention over the long haul. And I do think it's funny, but it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Like, what's his name? The muscly comedian guy.
Muscly comedian guy. Oh, JP.
Yeah, JP. So he mixes it up. He does like 5 different kinds of skits. Mm-hmm. And so it gives you a break. He doesn't do the same thing all the time. So I like that channel pretty good. But yeah, JP. JP Sears.
Yeah. I'm beginning to think, though, it is a lifestyle for us, though, isn't it, Joe? It has been even before YouTube. We kind of live it, don't we?
Well, it's a hobby that we are really we like to talk about a lot. Lifestyle, I think, is going a little farther than I would call it.
Okay. But you also don't like the word community, right?
Well, community is fine where it applies correctly. So calling everybody that plays this hobby a community is, to me, kind of a type 1 error. We are all enjoying the same hobby, but we're not proximal enough to be called a community. Really, okay. Communities share too much in a community has to have more in common than I play D&D, you play D&D. We talk to some folks that are fine folks. All you guys are fine folks, and this group that we have here, especially all the regulars, you could call that a type of community. But the wider hobby, all of us together, is not a community. We are all fellow hobbyists, but I wouldn't call it the whole thing a community.
Well, look at this definition here. What do you think? A group of people living in the same locally. So yeah, that's out. The district or locally into which that's out. But a group of people having common interests.
That almost makes community have no meaning.
So you don't like that definition of community. You like the other two?
Okay. The group of people that have common interests. Is everybody who likes hamburgers, is that the hamburger eating community?
Maybe.
I mean, that doesn't make sense.
Okay. I don't disagree. Or it doesn't
provide anything of value.
It doesn't provide it's not a well-defined word if that's all that it is.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Okay, so I get that mathematically speaking. It's not well-defined.
Yeah.
From that perspective. So community would not be a
enthusiasts.
There you go.
We are all gaming enthusiasts.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Boivin, here's something for Jenny D. Someone should challenge Jenny D. Play OSR type games for 6 months. Something real old school with racist class. Ooh. Well, I think that'd be interesting.
She would still dress up as him, I'm sure. Stop dyeing your eyebrows.
Mr. Boivin proposes this definition. Community means people acting as one with unity.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's close. That's a lot
better.
Like we are in a way communing. We are communicating with each other. We are going in a similar direction, at least while we're on the live stream together.
Right.
So, and when we interact on social media and maybe in other channels. There's a biggest geekest community, and then we have associated. There's a slightly bigger ring that includes other YouTube channels where we are all kind of related in a way that we've built over time. But just happening to like the same thing, to me, isn't a strong enough criteria to be called a community. And it's overused right now.
Right.
The word is way overused. Everything's a community. I mean, the basket weaving community.
Right. Because they're not all one. I think communities, what you're looking for is you want to drill down where the connection's a little bit more than just, oh, we all just play games, so we're all connected. Because that's clearly not true. There's a great divide. I mean, there's a political divide within gaming. I think game divide. There's a game choice divide within gaming. There's a game style choice within gaming.
Sure. Yeah. OSR is a subgroup, but everybody who likes old school gaming, they're not all on the same page too. There's old school gamers who are left.
Way left.
And there are, and whatever. It's just, it's not useful.
There you go. I like that word better. I like that phrasing better. It's not terribly useful.
No.
It doesn't tell you much. If we're all part of the gaming community, fine. But so what?
It's lazy talk too.
It is kind of lazy. Yeah.
I think it's lumping everybody together in some monolithic thing and trying to assign. It's doing a lot of work that is not really. It's all virtual community. It's not useful.
Cal says marketing is why we call everything a community. That's why they do it. Yeah. Yeah. But I think we do feel connected, like here. Like you said you're okay with maybe calling the biggest folks.
Yeah, we could say this is a type of community, sure.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. But calling everybody who plays role-playing games a community is silly.
Yeah. Mr. Boivin a good point. Well, I assume not everybody in your local community likes each other. That's true.
We don't even know all the role players in our local area.
No, I don't even know way.
But we do know some role players that don't like us much.
For sure. A handful.
But we don't go around each other.
No, we choose not. They do their thing. We do ours. It's all
good. It's fine. It's not like we have turf wars or anything like that. No problem. Can you imagine that?
That would be a great That would be a great live stream.
It would be. I didn't see Anchorman 2, but I know that there's some kind of newsroom fight scene.
Yes, it's great.
So that's what the level would be like. Different kind of nerds poking at each other.
Yeah, the hobby does give us common ground. Jack the 71st says it does. It does, because I imagine a lot of us are very different in that way. Martinson says they are coming. I don't know who they are, but we probably better watch out for them.
They are going where?
They're coming to take our books. Watching.
I did not, but I got to take the doggies out anyway. Sorry, I'm talking to my wife.
You know what, Hungar? He says we are getting involved in a turf war. We better call him. You can be in it on either side. We would respect you either way, whether you kick Joe in the nuts or you were on our side. That's fine.
No, we'll give him the automatic weapons.
Yeah, baby. Oh, see, Cal. So everyone likes Mountain Dew and Doritos.
Mountain Dew flavored Doritos.
I like Doritos. I do not like Mountain Dew. It's actually my least favorite drink.
Not everybody can have good taste.
I never
or actual taste buds.
I never claimed to be either. Oh, Patrick, I missed it. I think it would be interesting to have turf, TERF, with gamers who hate us.
Yeah, because there's that big thing with J.K. Rowling that's going on. The row with Rowling.
Is that where that acronym came up? TERF was with her.
Well, no, it existed before her, but because she's a lefty, but she doesn't toe the line that they want. So she's a bad person because she recognizes reality, like women are women, and just women are women. So as soon as you say anything about actual biological reality, you're a TERF, which Doesn't describe us because we're not radical feminists.
Nope, I'm not even remotely.
I'm not radical and I'm not a feminist. So
Absolutely not. Of no flavor. Flady 1, we need to have him be on our turf. If we're doing war, I'm heavy underwater, explosive, and nuke certified. Yeah, we definitely want Flady on our side.
we do have a big lake out here.
Yep. And Tonkin Todd's got our back, so that's good. We appreciate it. So, you know who we haven't seen in a while is Max from Legion of Myth. Have we scared him off?
Oh no. He has some
Tuesday night commitments.
some work, something about work.
Work. Poop on work.
I remember I've listened to a lot of his shows. There might be something going on, but I don't know.
Yeah,
that's fine. He called me out on one of his in one of their episodes.
Yeah.
No, he didn't call me out, but he mentioned us, mentioned Biggest Geekus, mentioned me.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He didn't like you.
I listened to they're one of the few YouTubers in our group that releases their audio on podcast. And it's easy for me to listen to, especially since they're like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours long.
Right.
So I can listen to it while I'm out walking my route.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of months ago, he said, I know that you're going to listen to this on podcast, Joe, in 2 months. And
I do listen to them on podcasts some, but I try to catch bits and pieces. They cut theirs up into chunks. And
yes. Flady says Max has been really busy. He actually is doing work at work.
Oh, yeah. I get it, dude. Life.
When he first got his position, they didn't know what to do with him, which is kind of governmenty. It's weird.
We're going to give you a job. What for? We don't know yet. We're just going to give you a job and a title.
Yes.
We'll figure it out later.
That lasted a long time, like almost a year or more.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, we got stuff for you to do. And it's due yesterday. So
he's civilian now, though, right? He's not working with them in a
correct, but he is working with military folk.
Which means it's going to be at military pace. Gotcha. All right. That's just interesting. So do you ever feel like you're doing too much, Joe? Do you ever want to back off with all this gaming stuff we're into? Or is it like, dude, full speed ahead, let's make it happen?
I wish I could find more time for actual gaming.
You're speaking the truth, son.
So I've been trying to figure out how to schedule in a game or two, even if I have to host it online. So right now, the house isn't ready for guests. So as soon as I can figure out a good time slot, I might either host or run something myself so I can get some gaming in.
Yeah. Well, that may be how we have to game with Mr. Blackwell, too. It depends. Yeah, Flady is very disappointed in you. He doesn't like how Joe is implying the government would be less than perfect.
Only a tiny smidgen.
Yes, we have not forgotten you. Hoping to play with you too, Mr. Blackwell. We're excited about Horde Wars.
Got to run. Help the wife in the kitchen. Got to run. Great stream as always. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Yes, Tonka Todd.
That's the dude.
Go do your thing. Oh, yeah. Patrick, I keep forgetting that you are just down the road. We need to do this.
You're right next to him.
Well, we went over to their place, and Jenny and I, we did something, played a game.
Yeah.
A little board game. What was that called, Patrick? I can't remember. Something about dragons.
Oh.
Dragon flaming, crafting, flaming dragon thingies. Basically, it's a resource management game with dragons as crafters.
Okay.
Flame craft.
Flame craft.
Well, it's supposed to be craft. Yeah, flame craft.
Flame crap.
And it's a really nice board game they got. They did the Kickstarter, I guess, and got the ultimate version of it. It's very nice pieces and all that. I don't think you can buy it like that.
I think I would like a game called Flame Crap.
Flame crap.
I had to play that. I'm sure.
Something tells me if you have the word crap in the title of your game,
I would like.
It better be a really good game because it's probably not going to sell.
They won me at crap, so I think it's.
There she goes again.
No, that was me.
That was you. Oh, I thought.
I said I would like a game called Flame Crap. Now, your wife and I do have that in common. We find poop funny. It's called Congress. Yeah, true. No,
It's
not
not
dice game craps. I mean, the
all of it.
literal poop. I think poop is hilarious. I laugh just thinking about it.
Okay, Hungar, be well.
Yep.
Hey, are you out of the hospital? I hope you are.
Yeah, I hope things are going well for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, so
We will keep you in our prayers. I need to make sure we let our church folks know.
well, Mr. Boisvan, he said there are a bunch of games with poop and crap in the title, usually aimed at kids and at me. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Do I have it? Yes. Hold on.
What are you doing? Joe is leaving again. He is just leaving us all the time. So, anyway, what am I going to do with him? I think he's getting something to show us. I know, Joe. You're going to show me your.
Well, this isn't a game.
Yes, I want that. That is an awesome.
I wonder how many of these sold.
I don't know, but I should
Poopy
have.
emoji.
You should give that to me, Joe. You don't need it. No, Jenny, your wife does. I forgot. Yes, crap.
What?
You should give it to me.
What did you say about my wife?
I said your wife likes. That's one thing she and I share.
Yes, the
You
like
like
poop. Except.
Oh, look who just showed up.
Hey.
Better late than never. What's up, Mr. Elliott? Can't wait till you get back to the home base. We got some gaming you got to get in the middle of. It's one of our boys. He's out west visiting the family.
How long are you planning on being out there? Another couple months? Is that what it was? 2-3 months?
I thought he was coming back at March.
Yeah, that's another month.
That's 2 weeks.
Depending on when in March.
March 1st is in a couple of weeks, so we expect you back at the table. Yeah. So, yeah. Well,
all right. So, is there anything else we're going to talk about with the hobby?
I don't think so. I just wanted to talk about the busyness, and I mean, my idea was, sometimes I feel like I'm doing too much, but I mean, I've even it's crossed my mind at a point to not do the podcast. I know that's weird, but it never lasts. It's a fleeting thing. I'm feeling, I've got a lot of other things. I'm
got a lot on the plate. Yeah.
I think backing off. I don't know if we told everybody we backed off on Dungeon 23. We just could not keep that going. Oh,
hey, did you guys sell your farm?
Oh, okay.
I'm happy for you leaving Oregon, especially if it's on the one side of the mountains that it's worse, near Portland.
Oh, Mar Hopper wants to know. I'm not reading Twitch chat. Is it? No, we are not. Are we missing out on the
going on? No, I don't have Twitch up.
Sorry, dude. We should. I think Mar's on there a lot, so we don't get to see his comments much. He's doing
his comments.
Are they coming through?
Yeah, his comments were coming through. He joined the comments late, and he was talking about making the monsters.
Oh, sorry,
how you are. That's better.
There we go.
You had to leave yourself in there, didn't you? He was making comments about making monsters, and we had moved beyond that to other stuff.
Sorry, dude. Yeah, the Twitch thing, we should be better, but we are barely able to keep up with you guys in the stream, so there's no way we could monitor Twitch.
Yeah, but definitely sorry if we missed anything. He's sticking his tongue out at us. You see that?
I don't blame him.
Disrespectful.
I think we deserve it.
They probably do. Yeah, that's a good question there. Oh, good. Because having a farm is good. I wish we had more land. Making your own food right now is a good idea, considering all things considered. So,
you see, Mr. Elliott said he'd be back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's great.
That is good. Glad to have him back.
So we're going to be getting back to some gaming better.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get back to the BX stuff. I want to keep playing that. I like the BX. So, what about?
Did you decide to dump? Who's it? Riffs.
Well, here's the truth of it. I'm finding that more stressful to try to find a play to run. I'm not going to say forever. I won't dump. Once we get back to gaming, well, when he gets back, I got to start focusing on my Cabin Con games. You know me, I need a couple of months to get my crap together. So I may not get the game immediately when he shows up. So we'll see. I don't want to dump riffs. Maybe that's where we'll go. But I do like a little bit. I was having a great time in that
Yeah.
OSE game. So well, I'll throw it out to you guys and we'll figure it out. Whatever you guys want to do, we'll do. Because I'm cool either way. All right, cool.
So the big question is, will Dave have room on his spread to house all of us when the balloon goes up? A real balloon that's really dangerous.
Right.
So we can actually be a community.
Yes.
Feed us, David.
Yes.
With all of your chickens. Right. So
dig ditches and I can do math. I can do the Pythagorean theorem and dig ditches.
Sounds like a useful combination, maybe.
That's awesome. It's all about the mathematics, baby.
All
right. So anything to report? And we still can't get that because of the Brave
yeah, I don't know.
or mine or
StreamYard does not play well, it looks like, on Linux. So at least unless somebody here knows if there is some setting in Firefox that I'm missing that lets me use StreamYard fully, because it's not doing it. Can't eat the chickens.
Oh.
Well, can you eat the eggs at least?
Yeah, hopefully.
As long as you can eat the eggs, then they're fine.
Yeah, that's true. I love me some eggs.
But yeah, for some reason on Linux, one problem is the Firefox browser does not fully support StreamYard. And when I put up Brave, I can't hear Randy.
So weird.
Probably need to we probably need to spend a little time, or I need to spend a little time experimenting and trying to figure out the settings. So
just let me know. I'll hop on and see if we can get it to work. I know Safari doesn't work very well. It said no with StreamYard, so we'll try to figure. I really want to hear let John speak up. I really like John. We need to maybe we're just going to have to get him on the show. Get John Allen Large. If nobody listens to the Red Dice Diaries, I would strongly encourage it. He's a real cool cat. And maybe we should have John Allen. We need to have John Allen Large on here.
Yeah, if we can figure out the logistics.
Yeah, he's another one of those folks across the pond. A pretty cool cat. I like John a lot.
Right. So as far as all that goes, the Emporium website has been having issues. My computer has been having issues. And like I said earlier, it's really put a damper on me moving forward with any kind of new features on the website. So hopefully I can finally do a little bit of forward momentum instead of just barely keeping it going.
Gar says he's going to look into something. He promised nothing, but I'll look into tonight when I get off work.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Okay, whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah, probably what I was just talking about with
nothing to report Big Geek Con, nothing to report on Big Geek Adventures. That's still in the editing phase. My editors are doing their thing. They'll let me know if they want me to do some adjustments. February is coming to the end, but I don't think there's as much chance I'm going to get it all. I hope I'm going to get it on the Emporium available. Yes, Jack the 7th concurs. The 70th, Jack the 71st. Yes. Yeah. So hopefully Big Geek Adventures will have Tragedy at Tygon's Falls pretty soon. So that's the name of the adventure. It's for about probably 2nd to 4th level characters could play that game. OSE style, OSR style characters is what it's built for. Stats are using ascending armor class, and it's about 20 something pages without any art, which it will have some. Mr. Patrick has some art to add, so it's probably going to be a 30 plus page adventure, and probably for ridiculously cheap. So,
okie dokie.
That's all I got to report about those things.
Alrighty. We don't have any more call-ins. Just got an email.
Oh,
I will say is interesting in the print on demand arena, and hopefully we'll have some good things to report soon.
Okay. Cool.
If it works, it looks like if it works out
Mhm.
completely well, we'll at least be able to have a particular form factor that will
Cool.
be a little cheaper than Lulu. So we'll see. Don't know all the details, but we'll see. The other thing is, if this person who sent me the email is listening, actually, I'll just reply to the email with questions. Anyway, yeah, I think that's good. I think we can call this a show. You want to call it?
Yeah.
It's a show.
It's a show.
It's a show. If you'd like to support this show, then I would suggest you subscribe
Right on.
if you haven't already.
Right.
Like, hit the bell notification, do some commenting, give us a rating somewhere, anywhere, to let folks know how much you like our show. If you have any requests or questions or anything like that, you can send us email at thegeekspodcast.com. You could hit us up, well, me really, on the Twitter at a Big Geek Emporium on Twitter. Head over to Big Geek Emporium. Just peruse around there. You should be able to find something that you can like. There's lots of free stuff there too. Very low cost. It's good stuff. If you would like to support us directly, you can head over to PayPal.me/Biggest Geekus. Streamlabs, Anchor, and Ko-Fi all have we have support over there at for Biggest Geekus. Yes, and we're on social media. We have a Discord. I should actually put the Discord in our links. That would be a good idea, and I do not have them.
I will add that to the outline of the outline.
Yeah, I think we took it out because I was having a hard time figuring out how to make sure that the link didn't expire, because it would say, do this to keep it from expiring. And it never did. So anyway, let me line something up right here. All right. Anything else from you, Randy?
Nothing for me.
All righty then. This is Joe.
This is Randy.
And remember, if you can't be big like us, then be geeks like us. Hitting the wrong button.
Or we could